Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the animated DC film Green Lantern Emerald Knights.
Yes, this film acts as a mid-quel instead of a sequel.
Yeah.
Mid-quel to the first Flight movie and shows the story of 6 different Green Lanterns' journeys and their lives once they inherited the ring. Now, all while preparing for the iconic Blackest Night event from the comics.
Yes. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to future podcasts and little pause videos.
Absolutely. Now, if you've seen the case itself, the artwork on there is fantastic. Too bad the animation doesn't match the artwork.
Yeah. It sort of looks just about the same as the first Flight movie, almost as if they were made at the same time. Mm-hmm. And in here, it's supposed to be almost like an anthology movie. And the anthology is in the background. Well, it's the forefront. And the background is preparing for Blackest Night. It's supposed to be some type of battle with an ancient enemy called Krona. And as they're preparing for that, they have a rookie lantern. And when there's things that come about in terms of conflict or asking about another lantern, where they always like that, it automatically goes into this big backstory about them. Like they have one about the first lantern, the first Green Lantern, or the official Green Lantern, I should say. They have one about Kilowog. They have one about Sinestro and Sabanero, who's the one that was the previous ring wielder before Hal. This is a lot. I'll just say a lot.
And the first Asian Green Lantern.
Yes, actually, yeah. Good. Thank you for pointing that out. And nothing was wrong with the stories, like, individually. I think these probably work better if they were just their own little shorts, like if they were something online, or it's like, as we said, an anthology series, and there was no extra story. It's like, hey, you can select which lantern you want to see the backstory of, and then you click it, and then you get that story as if it's its own little episode. Because in here, it kind of goes back and forth, and they try to find a connection between what's going on and with the girls' insecurities and questions and things. They try to connect it with some other lantern and show you, oh, it's not so different from this person's journey. That's not so different from Kilowog. Not so different from this. Oh, let me tell you a funny story. That's pretty much how this movie is. There is the plot sort of in the background this time.
Except there are no funny stories. Every single backstory in here is dark.
Yeah.
And riddled with death.
Yeah, surprisingly.
And struggle. And it's not a fun movie. That's just the best way to put it. This is not a fun movie. It's not to be lightly taken. It's not lightly presented. It's meant to be really, really dark. I think it should have been called Dark Nights.
Yeah, they have Blackest Night. So, yeah. The only one that was supposed to be taken slightly comedic was the one about Eagle the Living Planet. And a guy is trying to battle was supposed to be the most powerful lantern in the universe. And you don't know until the end that he's a planet, so there's no way he could beat him. He spends months trying to find him. And that's supposed to be the humor, which was fine, but it wasn't something you were really laughing at. It was just sort of like a comedy of errors. That was pretty much it.
Right. Now, you mentioned Nathan Fillion before. The last movie,
yes,
he actually appears in this movie. This voice cast includes him, as well as Jason Isaacs, Elizabeth Moss, Henry Rollins, who is excellent, and Arnold Vosloo.
Yes, and that's where I kind of got mixed up from the first movie,
right.
So thanks for pointing that out. And in here, this is also before Sinestro became the full-on villain.
Right.
So it's a little weird to see him here and him fight alongside them when you know what's coming.
Right.
Especially when you've already seen the first movie, you saw it coming. And in here, you kind of saw the seeds being planted. And I did get an answer to the question I had in the previous podcast of First Flight. It's like, okay, how did the Ring not know about this? What was his deal before he turned really evil? Well, it seemed like he already had some seeds of doubt anyway. He originally was intended on bringing justice to the universe. But because of all the crap that happens in the universe and every single species of alien is out to annihilate each other for the littlest reasons, he starts to get more and more obsessed with that idea because he sees everyone in the universe is pretty much hopeless. So he's got to be the sole guy to fix everything. And he doesn't believe in destiny and fate and all things. He started being like questioning what they believe in terms of what life should be about or what it determines. And I'm guessing this is what made him turn evil, is that he got so obsessed with it, like, okay, well, no one's bringing about the justice by will, so he's going to make everyone fearful and make them stop.
Right. This is more psychological. It's more theoretical.
Yeah.
It's more philosophical.
Yeah.
Than anything else. And again, I wish the animation had matched what's on the cover.
Yeah.
It's 2D, but not 2D in an exciting way, unfortunately.
Right. And I do like, whether kids see this or not, they say PG, so I'm assuming they're allowing some kids to see it. I do like that some movies they have aren't trying to talk down to younger viewers. They're giving them mature subject matter, just like they did with the Justice League series and everything, where it was still safe to watch, but they were handling darker things.
Absolutely.
And I don't mind they did that, but you gotta keep it with a bigger story, something engaging with it, because if they're just getting a bunch of history lessons, some of them are gonna tune out. If they got like older fans or Green Lantern hardcore fans, they might enjoy this and say, wow, this is how they kept it accurate. But if not, this is going to be lost on a lot of younger viewers, and that's the downside to this version of the film.
Absolutely. Now, the good thing is, when this was originally made, this took place during when DC was making entertaining movies and churning out movie after movie that gave good plots and storylines and so forth. So it's a part of that excellent movie universe that no longer exists.
Right.
So it's not a bad movie. It's just very different than you expect when you watch it.
Right. And as for recommendations, you can. Just like we said, if you're a really big Green Lantern fan, this might be really enjoyable.
And if you really want to know about a lot of backstories for some of the lanterns you may be familiar with, this is a great movie to watch because you get to see it in action rather than reading in the comic.
Right. And one more thing I will point out is that they make it obvious that being a Lantern is not fun. It's not fun at all. I mean, they will drop like flies at a moment's notice. They'll be just fine one scene. Next minute, they're beaten senseless, and then the ring flies off, and they're gone. It's like, wow, they could just be gone in just a minute, and it's kind of like puts a lot of pressure on. It's like, this is why
I want to be a paladin.
Yeah,
I want to be a lantern.
Right. So it kind of makes sense why some people be hesitant on being a lantern, because this film clarifies it's not a fun job because they can be wiped out like that, and it's kind of dark.
Under threat of being
right.
wiped out. It seems like someone from some universe or cosmos or whatever is constantly trying to kill them.
Yeah,
it's an ongoing hunt.
Yeah, and that's like probably the darkest part of the Lantern Corps, is that they're always a target. They even have the backstory of how the Lantern rings were made, and it was for sole purpose of getting rid of these people that keep wanting to annihilate them.
Right. So if you have seen the Green Lantern, the Green Lantern Emerald Knights, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, you can purchase it like we did. I don't know if it's on streaming.
I guess it'll be on HBO Max because it's a
Possibly.
DC movie, so I think it'll be on there.
And if you buy it, it's probably available for a cheap price. This is an older movie, and they've completely rebooted the DC universe, so you can probably get it at a great price. So if you haven't seen it, give it a watch and come back and let us know what you think in the comments.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, animated shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And the Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.